What's going on, y'all? I gotta get my hair did, but I don't be liking these stateside prices. I wanna get my hair done. I wanna look sexy for these fake holidays. Did you request? Okay. Oh, Mahendran, what's poppin'? Let's see.
It's karaoke hour?
All day long in my
Oh,
hair, child.
what's going
All day
on?
long.
I
You
love
know.
at first when I saw your face, I love how the tree looks like it's growing out of your head right now. It's perfect. You are a true plant medicine woman.
Listen, I feel like it. How about that?
I dressed up for y'all. Just want you to know. Just dressed up for everyone. Looking fine, looking
First of all,
pretty, wearing something see-through.
you
I
gonna
got
do
my
it regardless.
what?
You gonna do it regardless.
Regardless. Regardless of washing my hair, I'm gonna show up on a live.
Yup.
Come on in. Join the party. Is Shavon here?
Yeah. She needs to request.
Shavon, get up in here. It's time.
Show your face, girl. Thought I could pin this.
You did it. It's working.
There we go.
Come on in. Come on in. I wish we had some intro music. What would your
Down,
intro music be?
down, down, down. I don't know. All right, this will be coming
Uh-oh.
on now.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hello.
Shoot, Vaughn.
Hello. It's Shavon in the house.
I feel like I need to get a whole new track. I need to start a goal.
There you go. Frame your face, girl. Frame your face.
Okay.
Shavon,
Hey
welcome to the
guys.
party.
Welcome, Shavon.
Hi, I've never done one of these before, so I'm like an old
What?
person. I'm like, I don't know. I'm struggling, like I don't
What?
know what to do. What do I press?
But you
No,
do lives though.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised because you have the gift. You have like the gift when you speak. I feel like I listen to a sermon or like a podcast.
Get
So
hot
I
right
feel
in.
like you would have done these like 100 times already.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've gone live. Instagram isn't really like it hasn't been my platform, so I don't all these new features and gadgets and gadgets, I'm totally like an old person. Like, what do I press? Take me back to Facebook, right? I don't know.
You're taking
But
your glasses down. You're like,
I
how do you
am.
press this button
Listen, I
here?
was. I sure was like, what do I
Come on
do?
now. So welcome everybody. I guess we'll get started. We're really, really excited to talk to Shavon. The title is Death and Rebirth, with it, which was a theme for Shavon. So I thought it would be a really good title through the eyes of Shavon. We welcome Shavon here to talk a bit more about her plant medicine journey, get into sort of like what led her to actually even do it, because Shavon was not about the plants. She was like, I don't know about all this. And, you know, it's been a few months since the retreat. So we just kind of want to get an idea of your journey, who was Shavon before and after, all them goodies. And so welcome to the show.
Welcome to the show. I like how you say it
Thank
like that. Welcome to
you.
the show.
You
I
know,
know.
made for
So
this.
official. Hello, thank you. Y'all hold on. I didn't turn my heat on, so let me turn my heat off.
Wait, I thought the heat was already turned up right now. That's right. You guys live in the East Coast where you need
Yeah,
jackets and stuff.
I
It
almost
was
wore my
nice
Scully
today.
hat.
It was nice today, so all right.
So
I'm
let's
happy to
get
be here
started.
though.
Yeah. And I don't know, do we want to introduce ourselves?
I don't know. I feel like I do that all the time. People know me. If you're on here, you know me. But we can introduce Savon. Savon, you know what? Introduce yourself. I would love you to introduce yourself. By the way, if you want some nice brows and eyelashes, this is the person.
Yeah.
Uh, Hi. Well, I will definitely introduce myself.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Shavon Dotson, but my handle on here is Subtle Beauty Atelier. I am a creative, right? That's probably the best way I could describe myself. But I'm a creative in the beauty industry. So I specialize in traditional makeup and also permanent makeup artistry, where I really just help enhance women's natural beauty, right?
Mm.
And I do that through giving them new brows, some lashes, or really just subtle enhancements. So whatever makes them feel beautiful is what I want to focus on. I
Love it.
love utilizing makeup as I always tell people makeup is my ministry, right? It's never about the makeup. It really is just about empowerment of people, of folks. So that's what I do.
Love it.
Beautiful.
Love it. Now we're going to deep dive into plant medicines, this retreat. And
Yep.
I feel like we had to write down a bunch of questions and just like really hone in because I feel like I could talk to you for a couple hours. And especially since like you're going to continue to unfold, we can just like continue this conversation. But it brought me back to like the beginning. I want to know for you, if you can remember before the retreat, like what was it that was like calling you at the time? Like how did you even know that you're supposed to go to the middle of DR with like, what was calling you at the time?
That's actually a really great question. The space that I was in prior to the retreat it took me years to get to that space. This past year has been one of the most challenging years of my life. I am a mom, I am a wife, I have an older child. My daughter is almost 19 years old. Anybody that has an older teen out there understands, you just get tried. You get tried. You go through the fire, with those years. And then I have a small son, right? My son is now 2. So that's a really big gap for me. And parenting it became a trigger for me. So 2 years ago, when my son was born, my body retreated back to my 19-year-old self, who was a single mom, at the time when I had my daughter. And it was just a dark space. And it was a space I didn't know how to communicate to my wife, who, is the biological parent to our son. She was excited. This is her first, child. So it's like, how do I share that? How do I share that to say, hey, I'm in a really dark space? And she was also going through her own journey, right? She was dealing with postpartum, and I don't know, it was a dark space. And then my oldest daughter, I feel like for me, what I call all of my parental sins got thrown at me because my daughter started to show her ass. Y'all, can't we curse? Because I curse.
Yep, you can curse.
Okay.
Please
Because,
do.
yeah, my daughter started to show her ass in a way that I was just like, who you talking to, right? It was a lot, and it sent me to a really dark space. My daughter ended up leaving the home. In not a great way. She left the home, and it broke me. Like, broke me all the way down. I started intense therapy every week just to kind of help me wake up in the morning. And, even just kind of after doing that therapy, I just realized like I need something more, because therapy helped me start to uncover some childhood trauma, just some wounds and some things that I needed to address. And I thought therapy was great, but we were hitting the tip of the iceberg. I knew that I was ready to really do some shadow work, and it took me a while to get to that point to say, okay, I feel like I'm at a point now where I'm really ready to address something, because I'm ready to let this shit go. Like, legitimately ready to let it go. And then life kept lifing. And I feel like it kept lifing. I kept getting all the signs where it was just like, when you tell the universe something, I'm ready. It'd be like, you sure? And I feel like that's what happened, because at every turn, just things kept getting thrown at me that was highlighting, you say you're ready to let it go, but you ain't letting it go. Right? So my marriage was on the brink of complete destruction. I was drowning as a parent to a teenager and to a very small child. I felt like I lost myself. And I always said, like, hey, I know me. If I lose myself, there's no one in this world who can help bring me back. Right? So I knew it was up to me to do the work to like find myself again. And it's just beautiful because I had met Frances years ago on something else, right? About traveling abroad and stuff. So when I saw what she was currently doing, I was like, this is interesting. And I let it sit in my spirit for a minute. And I've never heard of none of the stuff, y'all. But again, when you ready to get your healing, you just be like, come on, just give it to me. I don't even know what this is. And I prayed on it and I let it, you know what I'm saying, like sit with me, and I meditated on it, and it just kept feeling like this is what I needed to do. And so you all were hosting this in August, which is my birthday month, literally around my birthday time. And so I decided that I would sign up, we would do the call, and I was like, let's just see, right? Let's just get the vibe. Let's just see. I had never met Lily. I'm like, I don't know who this chick is. I know a little bit about Frances, but I don't really, and then I feel like when we had the call, y'all know I'm crying on the call. Like, it was just like, I'm sobbing on the call. And to me, that was just confirmation that you really need this. And you all were very patient with me and, understood me. I felt like in a way in which it was hard for me to get anybody else to understand what I was saying, when I'm like, I'm just ready to let some shit go. And I don't I know in my head I'm ready. I'm trying, therapy's helping, but I know it's some other stuff I need to do. And just after that consultation call, it was just like, go for it. Like, this is it. And I definitely took y'all advice because I'm a researcher. And as much as I was ready to like go down the rabbit hole and research all the things, day one, we're going to do what? Day two, we're going to do what? I refrained. I was just like, I know if I research too much, I'm going to talk myself out of it. I'm going to make fear get, you know what I'm saying? Like all the things, because I am a true Virgo. I am over analytical, and I will convince myself that it's supposed to be a specific experience. And I didn't want to show up like that. I wanted to show up, and like my prayer was that whatever is supposed to happen, I want to let it happen. Whatever I'm supposed to get, I'm going to, I just want to get it. And that was really just the energy that I wanted to approach it with from the moment that I signed up. I just wanted to say, it's going to be what it's going to be. And I just want to be open to it. And so that's really kind of what my journey was like, being led up to that. It was a dark space for me. I mean, dark, I felt myself going into a depression. I feel like COVID brought up a lot of stuff for a lot of people because we had to sit with ourselves. And I had to sit with myself in a way and realize I don't even know myself. I don't know who this person is. And I didn't like that. I started to have anxiety. My insomnia started to come back. And I just felt like I don't have the skills to really be able to navigate this space in my life. I need new skills. I need new processes because what I had been doing in the past don't work. So it's time to try something new.
Oh my God, there's so much there. There's so much there.
Yeah. Oh, well, first of all, I really appreciate you being so like honest and vulnerable about this process, because I think when people just, they coming out from nowhere, coming into this experience, don't know how people can lead up to this experience. You said something was really important, is that like you've been thinking about this for a while and you had some work to do before you came to it. And you just knew that about yourself. And also it just kind of goes to show that like when it's our time, right? And you just kind of knew that about yourself, and what was beautiful about your process and why your process probably was so powerful is because, like you said, you're like, I'm just going to surrender to this. Like, I know what my Virgo wants me to do, but I'm going to surrender to this. And I tend to find that people like shoot up to the sky after that. And I even saw the continual surrender with you during the retreat, because you're like, whoa, on the first day, wow, that was a lot. Wow,
we gonna do what?
That was a lot, guys.
We gonna eat what? We gonna what?
We're doing,
Y'all, there was so much that I was like, hey, what did I really just sign up for though? Because it was every aspect of the retreat was outside of my comfort zone. Every single aspect of it pushed me outside of my comfort zone, But I told myself to surrender to the whole process, and, to not let my analytical brain create situations and issues that really don't need to exist, because I feel like that's one of the things that has blocked my growth, in the past. And that's a thing that I'm working on getting over. And so that was really kind of like step one for me to say, don't you get on Al Gore's internet and Google every single thing. So
What I love about your story, Shavon, is so relatable. So many of us have been in that space where it was like super, super dark, and we were just like at the brink. And that reminds me of my story in 2016 when I went to my first retreat. I was lost, dark, and just like numb, right? And I didn't have money. I just booked it on a credit card. Like within a week, it was 7 days. 7 days. I booked the plane ticket, went to West Side, never been to California ever in my life. And but I just needed something. I needed, like you said, the skill sets. I just wanted to let go of it. I wanted it to be just move past whatever this was, this hump that was just like big ass wall. So I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, and I appreciate you sharing that, the beginning of that. Yeah.
It was interesting about what Francis just told. Like, that's how her and I met.
Mm-hmm.
Both her and I were like, it's time for something to die and something else to come in. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna go pay this lady some money and
figure it out.
I didn't even know who she was. I did some Googling myself. I was like, whatever, because what I'm doing, like you just said, it ain't working.
It ain't working.
I need some assistance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that resonates so much.
And what you said earlier, just because we'll touch on just for a little bit, because I don't like to feed the fears. But you said something about like, I'm not going to go down these rabbit holes, or I'm not going to go whatever. But I know we are very aware that people come with these fears, especially when it comes to these medicines, because there's all kinds of trash on the internet. And throughout history, there's been all kinds of trash against, all types of drugs clumped into the same category. And so we come to these situations with those fears, whether we were told them, whether we see them in movies or whatever. And I'm just curious to know what were like your biggest fears before coming. Like, what was that for you?
Sounds really silly, but it's true. Like the first fear, am I gonna die?
Yeah.
Am I gonna die? Right?
That's
because
real.
you're right. If we plant medicines or psychedelics, whatever you want to call them, they've been demonized. And I grew up in a household where it was just like, don't you do drugs. And so I'm just like, I'm not going to tell anybody. I don't want to be judged for it, because it's like, I don't even know enough about it to educate anybody else. I'm going to find out myself. And so it was really just like, okay, God, I'm really not trying to die. I want to get my healing, but I still want to be here on the earth to get it.
He's like, at what cost?
Exactly. I'm not going to the Dominican Republic to drink no Kool-Aid, am I, Lord? But it's interesting because like that was the fear. Like, oh my God, I don't want to go there, because I went by myself, right? Mm-hmm. And like even my family, my wife's looking at me like, so you going to the middle of the Dominican Republic by yourself? And everybody's just like, you're traveling by yourself to another country, of course. And other people's fears become your fears. So I'm just like, ooh, am I going to be safe? That was a real fear, just the safety of it. And then not even the process of the journey. My biggest fear was, what about after?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, what's the after effect? Am I still going to feel supported? You know what I'm saying? Will they still kind of be there to walk me through this? What is life going to be like? Is this process going to ask me to make some difficult decisions that maybe I'm not ready to, I don't know. So just really thinking about when we talk about letting things go and wanting to be free. For me, it's like, I want to be free, but ooh, what
Not that way.
what might that look like though?
You skip that.
Exactly. Like, what am I going to have to do? Because again, I'm like, I don't know what the after effects of this, when I come back to reality. Am I still going to be able to have these processes? Am I still going to remember this experience, or Is it going to be hard for me to kind of readdress? So that was a real fear, just thinking about like the after and the implementation and application of these things into my life. Am I really going to be different? Right. So it was just, those are just real fears for me.
I feel like that's such a Virgo thing of you because honestly, I feel like that's one of the questions that people don't ask themselves.
Yeah,
And you're
after.
like covering all the bases.
Yeah, I'm
You're
like,
like,
yo,
what's
she's
my
thorough.
plan after? How many pages in
Oh,
my
it's
work?
definitely
Thorough,
Virgo.
Lord.
Yeah.
So I feel like actually that's, you can tell there's some foresight there because sometimes we remind people the reason why that Francis and I even do this in the first place is because we truly believe in that integration, the before, during, and the after, because we too haven't experienced situations where there wasn't the continual space held for us. And we know that these are powerful, powerful experiences, and we continue to unpack and unpack and unpack. And even Francis and I are unpacking along with you, right? It's real. Like, we're not enlightened. I haven't levitated yet, so I feel like that is beautiful because we sometimes have to remind people like, yes, you can go to the jungle and meet with any shaman. It doesn't matter, right? But really, is this a person that understands the wholeness of the process, right? And understands the modern mind. The modern mind in the US is quite different than somebody who's just hanging out in the jungle all day, right? We develop many different imbalances here for a reason, right? And we're just needing to deconstruct that in a different way. And that's what I love about partnering with Francis, who comes from the clinical world and now is putting spirit and heart into it, right? And I'm just putting all my shenanigans into it, right? All my little like
He's
medicine,
out here
all my
messing around,
all
Shavon.
my little like
Just messing around. I'm like, get to work. Now,
yes.
since then, because I do want to get into the integration, but I want to leave that towards the end. So since having this experience, how has just your perspective has changed in regards to like healing modalities, retreats, or any of that stuff?
Yeah.
So you all know the biggest shift for me outside, and I'll get into my mindset and stuff. The biggest shift was a physical shift. I will share with people, I had a hysterectomy a year and a half ago because I had endometriosis, and they didn't find the endometriosis until they did my surgery of having a hysterectomy. And if anyone knows anything about the process of like having a hysterectomy or even what that means, first of all, I felt a huge loss because I was losing a very feminine part of myself. Never wanted any more kids, didn't matter, right? But just that was a huge loss for me. And so I was struggling with how do I cope with that? And then so much happened in my body. I was in immense pain, chronic pain all the time. And that's another reason that I was just like, baby, these plant medicines, something got to help me. So the biggest shift for me, it was a physical shift. And I really attribute that to the plant medicines and the work that those medicines do physically, right? On a cellular level. Because we went to this retreat in, what was it, like mid to the end of August. You all know, I shared with you, I was in the ER a week before leaving to go to the Dominican Republic because I was in immense pain. I mean, like, could not stand up. My wife had to rush me to the emergency room. I'm like, Lord, please let me still be able to go to this retreat. And they prescribed me medication. And of course, as a part of the preparation, I wasn't taking any, pain medication, anything like that. But I was just like, Lord, I am in so much pain. Like, what is going on? And it had never gotten that bad. So I shared that with you all, and just the way that you all curated an experience for me that spoke to my specific need was amazing. And the plant medicines, right? Like, we're purging, and I'm just thinking I'm, just throwing up or whatever. But at the end of that week, my body felt different. And at first I was just like, maybe I'm just still so, elated from the experience. I don't know. a few weeks passed after leaving the retreat. It was September. I knew that it was time for me to have a flare up. Y'all, I was in tears because September came and I did not, I did not have a bad flare up. I functioned. I had not been able to function during a cycle time since I probably started my cycle. And my wife and I, we were in Florida, and I'm like, is this a fluke? Right? So I'm like, let me continue on with my process. October came. No, like, it's still the same thing. I'm like, what the mess? Like, okay, out here, like,
oh man,
for a week.
I love it.
And literally, this is November. My, cycle time just passed, and it still can make me cry because I just told my wife, I said, I'm functional, right? Like, but I can move and I can be in the world. And I have not had a flare up since I was in the ER in August. And I absolutely attribute that to the way the plant medicines work with the body, right? On a physical level, on a cellular level. So that is a huge change for me. It's just like, like, this stuff helped heal my body in an immediate type of sense. Like, it spoke to what was needed. But I was also very intentional when I was interacting with every plant medicine about, hey, let me tell you what I need. Like, I'm going to tell you what I need right here. So I was very intentional when I was, interacting with all of the plant medicines. And I'm so grateful. I cannot say enough how grateful I am. And y'all know, in our group chat, I'm always just like, oh my God, like, I'm still okay. That was huge for me because I was bedridden for a week and a half, almost 2 weeks every single month, to the point where, like, my wife was, again, it impacted my marriage. My wife is concerned. Y'all, I'm a mom. Like, it's kind of hard to feel like you're a great mom when you are bedridden. My doctor is using words like disability. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, whoa, right? What are you talking about? So that was a huge shift for me. The second shift is just, I don't even know how to put it, right? Because I feel like I can't explain it where other people would understand, but it's just, my perspective has just shifted. The way I interact, the way I understand, the way I receive. I have the ability to check my ego in a way. I never had that ability to check my ego before and really ask myself, is this higher self speaking or is this ego speaking? And I'm not about to sit here and lie and make it seem like, I've left the retreat and I'm just like, do, 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 do. I have my moments, but I'm thankful for the time where I really sit with it. And higher self is just like, bitch, because higher self definitely talks to me like that. She be like, bitch, you wrong. Okay, go apologize. I mean, like, I still am able to connect with my higher self, and I listen to her, and I'm able to command my ego to the back and say, that's ego, you gotta get to the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not gonna do the ego thing. Y'all, that shit is saving my marriage, right? Yeah. And when I say, like, saving, I mean saving. It's saving my marriage. It's saving my relationships. I recently went back home. I'm originally from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I went back home to visit my family, and home for me was also always a place of trauma. There's a lot of childhood trauma there. While I was at the retreat, I legitimately let that go. Mm-hmm. I had a whole moment, right? I let that go. Y'all, this was the first time I was ever able to go back home and enjoy my family. I allowed myself to feel love from my family. I had not done that before because I was holding on to so much hurt. It was all about, like, I'm going to come over here, but I'm only going to stay for 5 minutes because, I don't trust y'all. Y'all be doing the most. I love y'all, but I'm keep y'all over there. And I went back and I said that again, moved with intention. I said, I'm going to go back home. I'm going to allow myself to be loved on by my family because I deserve that. And it was such a beautiful week to where I'm like, hey guys, I'm coming back, you know. So I've learned to be able to shift the narrative. I've taken back control of my, you know, of the narrative in my head. And I'm just like, I deserve to be loved in this way. Like I am worthy of love in this way. I don't have to do it all. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be sad. You know, it's just all of these things. I'm learning how to give myself more grace. And because I can give myself more grace, I can give other people more grace as well. So for me, those are the biggest shifts about like pre-Shavon, you know, pre retreat Shavon and post retreat Shavon. I'm able to really see things in a different way and honestly move with love.
Wow. I even had to like write some notes because like you were talking, I was like, wait, that one, wait, that one, wait, that one. But what is a couple of things that you talked about was I love one of the things that I think people just think, yes, it's a retreat. Yes, I get that. They're like, I can go to retreat. But when you make that investment in yourself and you like give yourself that time and space, you created a relationship, right? That you hadn't attended to in a long time. Like it really, we don't give ourselves that time and space, especially like away, right? In
Yeah.
nature, in silence, with community, with sisterhood, with that care that you were giving yourself. So it makes sense that the physical got on board, right?
Yes.
Because you are leaning into that feminine part of you that says, just nurture me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, we got you. And it's the plant medicines, but then it's also like our lovely Autumn, our chef, who's also an herbalist. She really has like the perfect kind of concoction and tincture for every little thing, but she also knows the plant medicine so well. And that's what we really, really value, is that we will work with people who know this really well and build a relationship with it. And so what you like gave yourself really was that time and space, right? So you surrendered in it, time and space. So then it's like no like surprise that now there's this compassion and love kind of invited into your space now, right? Because you've invited
Mm-hmm.
it for yourself first, and now it's just like glowing and going on to others. And that's what's so beautiful about these, is like nobody else changes, right? We're the ones
Right.
that shift. It's like we think that like we're gonna go on plant medicine and it's gonna reverberate somehow. It's gonna get
Right.
into somebody else's water, right? It's gonna get into the. I hope psilocybin gets
Does he
into my
smell it?
dad's
Can you
water.
smell it?
Like, wouldn't that be great? But in a sense, it does, because your vibration is still carrying, the medicines. So in a sense, it does, and then it softens other people, right? And you just kind of realize, humans, we're doing the best we can in this weird little meat suit. Geez,
Yes.
being a human is kind of wild and weird and hard. So, why not make it more fun and playful and easy? And that's what these medicines are. It's about the essence of love, the
Yes.
essence of your soul, right? The essence of purification. And you just kind of spoke it all there. I don't know, Francis, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you said was beautifully stated. I always say to my clients, like, when you change the way that you look at the world changes.
Mm.
It really does. And I don't know, and it's hard to like viscerally explain that to somebody who has a lot of barriers and a lot of
Yes.
trauma and walls and all of that stuff. But you can bring more peace into your life when you just have that shift in perspective. And sometimes we need something that's going to interrupt what we've been doing for so long, right?
Mm.
Because all that we've been doing has just been habit.
Yeah.
And so if we've learned it, we can unlearn it and we can reteach
Yes.
ourselves these skill sets, right? And now, like you said earlier, I have more skills.
Mm.
And how much more peace can you bring in your life when you have more skills to manage the everyday, right? Not only have you deepened your spirit, but you've also understood your flesh a lot more. And so
Mm.
now these two can work together in partnership, in unison, right? Instead of in opposition all of the time. And it goes back to, like, I always say, like, how do you heal the conflict within, right? And these plant medicines give you the space to kind of rethink things and refeel things in ways you've never felt or thought of them before. So just watching you on this journey and watching you at the retreat, like just leaning in, man. I mean, you's a powerhouse, and it's not about like, oh, I'm coming in here strong, but it was like, I'm coming in here soft. I'm coming in
Yes.
here vulnerable. I'm coming in here with all of the surrender, 2 arms in the air, all of that. And you received all of what the plants were meant to give you because your heart was just wide open.
And I think that was a really challenging thing for me. I wasn't accustomed to allowing myself to be vulnerable, right? I wasn't vulnerable with myself. I wasn't comfortable being vulnerable, with my wife. I wasn't comfortable being vulnerable with my family, my kids, right? And so then here I am entering this space with women. Y'all, I don't know them. And right, we're talking about like healing things. And you all know my intention was to enter this space and just receive, but that doesn't mean that I didn't still have my walls up when I got there. It's just like I'm quiet, like, okay, y'all, I'm here to receive, but I don't really know about this space, right? Like I'm here and I want to be open, but also, I'm shy and I'm still figuring things out, and I'm trying to figure out, how I'm gonna show up in this space, right? And I feel like we all started as complete strangers. And I share this with people when I talk about my experience, and they get so sick and tired of me saying it. But it's like we started as strangers, y'all. We left as legitimate, like, soul sisters. I mean, the way we connect, I have never connected that way with the group of individuals, women especially, never connected that way. And it was the most beautiful experience I have ever had in my life. The hugs, the way that we held space for each other. I was the only one, the way, right, like everything worked out. I was the only one with a roommate. And I challenged myself there, because at first I wanted to be, I'm going to just go over here in my own room. But I challenged myself there to say, don't separate yourself. And the universe, God knew what he was doing. Put me and my roommate together like it was kismet, because, Tia held space for me from the moment that we got there. And y'all, the way sis held space for me in the spiritual realm, like I will never, and I might get a little emotional on this, I'm gonna let y'all know that, but I will never forget that. And it meant so much to me to know that this person who I just met got me, right? Like legitimately got my back. And, it wasn't even in like a, oh, let me console you type of way. It was just, hey, I'm holding space for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. This is new. We're all new here, but I'm gonna be here to hold space for you. And just the way each individual held space for me, man, like, y'all, that touched me on a level I'm so grateful to have experienced. And I will never forget that ever in my life. And I know we are all connected forever, right? Like we are bonded spiritually for the rest of our lives. And it was just, man, like it was beautiful. It was so freaking beautiful. And I'm just proud of myself. Yeah. I'm proud of myself for sticking it out. I'm proud of myself for being open. I'm proud of myself for taking those lessons home, right? And still committing to the application of those lessons, even after leaving such a beautiful, sacred space. It is work. I'm not gonna lie, like I wanted to convince myself life wasn't gonna life after I left the Dominican, right? Like, you just went to this retreat connected to nature and the world and the universe. It's not gonna throw any curveballs your way. What a lie, right? And like you all know, life still been life at.
Yeah.
Life was life at hard when I got back. But it was, again, I feel like it was the universe challenging me to say, now you said you let it go, right? You said here's your opportunity to use a new skill. And so I'm grateful that I do have new skills to be able to tap into. And just the level of support I know I have, not only in this earthly realm, but for me, I connected to the spirit world in a way that I had never connected before, y'all. Like, I walk on this earth now, like, baby, it ain't nothing you can say to me, because, right, I'm so connected and protected, even in the spirit world. Like, woo, that thing put some fire under me, and it just, you know what I'm saying, I could puff my chest out a little bit, like, boo, do you know who I am?
Do you know who my friend is?
What? Like, I look in the mirror, though, and I say that to myself, like, girl, do you know who you are? Right? Do you know whose you are? And I just need to remind myself of that, you know, every day, because it was such a powerful experience. And I'm so blessed that I now have that knowledge, you know, and that sits in my soul with me forever.
Wow.
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 Yeah, I something you said earlier really hit me, because it made me think about how I see this journey now, where I'm really starting to trust like how spirit just leads you wherever you're supposed to go. And I remember something in our ayahuasca ceremony where he said, remember, you already chose this moment.
Yeah.
And that sent chills up my spine when he said you already chose this. All of a sudden there's like a remembrance of your spirit and its path and its true essence, right? And it really helped me just not fight this anymore. That I already chose this. That's true. He's actually right. I chose this, otherwise I wouldn't be here in the dark at 4 a.m. at God knows whose house. Right?
Child.
Of course I chose this. And taking
Yeah.
ownership really is taking ownership of that life's journey, and how you literally have the power to do anything, which is why you see these little moments in those where you're like, oh yeah, it's just a remembrance. You kind of forgot. As life gets really busy, you forgot.
Right.
And I think it is really important, also something you said earlier, to have these spaces where we can reconnect with our sisters, and it becomes a new experience, right? Where we're not against each other, and we're completely for each other. And that's why I don't always worry about like who's coming to the retreat, because it already happened. Like it already happened.
So true.
And who is supposed to be there will be there. You don't have, like, the spirit's already talking to that person of the plant. The spirit of the plant's already speaking, right? So I'm just there to like hold space, be the catalyst, and just like say, I'm gonna hold you down, right? But the spirit, you know, of the medicine is already having a conversation separate from me with this person. So sometimes when we get overwhelmed by like our marketing or kind of like who we're speaking to or whatever, I just kind of go, okay, it's, you know, start playing my drum. Just start playing my drum, you know. I'm like, so that part's beautiful.
Yeah. And I just want to further elaborate on what you said earlier about like sisterhood. And often when we get on this healing journey, we often want to do it by ourselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, there is some, you know, I've done some self-development or self-improvement kind of work where I read some books or took a class or something like that. But at the end of the day, you cannot do this healing alone. Even if you do the book itself, you're still using someone else as a support, right? You're still like you borrowing someone else's faith in your ability to walk through this path. So this healing journey should not be done alone, and it doesn't have to be done alone. There's so much power in connecting with other people, especially when you're like, you know, feeling as if you are having a hard time believing in yourself that you can actually do this. Because often some of the fears of going into this is like, can I actually do it? Am I capable of actually committing to this whole entire process, right? And you really are. And just like Lily said, it's already here. It's already here. So I appreciate that because community is so important, especially, you know, when you go through these experiences and then you have to go back. We talked about that earlier, about like going back to a world where they have no idea about these experiences. And not only that, maybe they didn't even do therapy, on a basic level. So then you have to interact with these people. Like, how do you do that? And that's why the integration is there. And if you need, obviously longer services, that's an option as well, so that you can continue to unfold in a place where somebody actually understands what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because, not every therapist can actually resonate with an experience like this. I'm just going to say it,
But and I shared that with you all. I was in therapy consistently prior to going, had a therapy session after coming from the retreat. And like I said, my therapist and I think we both was just like, and we're done, right? And our time together has ended because it just kind of naturally came to a, hey girl, if you need me, like we usually be like, you need, we're gonna set your appointment. I'm gonna see you this time. It was legitimately like my therapist was like, okay, sis, reach out. God bless you. So I think like my therapist could even see there was a shift here because I'm having conversations with her. I'm attempting to have a conversation that she can't have with me. Like, you don't get it. Even, when I came home trying to explain to people, everybody was like, how was your experience? I'm like, oh, it was, like you ever been, and then you be up here, right? And then God said, right, you cried, but then I saw, it's very difficult to have this conversation with people. And, people will be like, oh, for real? You don't know what I'm talking about, but I appreciate you for listening, right? And so I love, the integration part of it because that was important to me to know that I can still continue on the conversation with people who were in those experiences with me, right? Like, I think the most powerful thing for me was the integration session we had immediately after Aya. I heard everybody else's experience, and I was just like, so we all was literally on like completely different. It's like everybody was in their own, totally, but also still together. Yeah. That might not make sense to nobody but us right here because we get it, right? Yeah. But it's just like for real, like everybody was somewhere else doing their own thing, but also we were there together and could feel, each other's energies. And so just we're continuing that. And I think it's important because we can relate, it's just having conversations with people. And then I think, we do a great job of reminding each other, like, okay, don't forget, do this, or, if you need me, I'm here for you, reach out. And that means a lot to me because I thought I had to do a whole bunch on my own. I thought my healing journey was just supposed to be me in a dark room by myself, healing my way through it, because in my head, I'm like, it's your trauma. This is right. Like, this is your burden to carry. And it's just like, hell no, y'all. I never want to say I want to do anything by myself, like ever again. I'm for real. Like, I came home, and my wife will tell you, I came home and I cried. And I was just like, I'm just so sorry because, you just was really, I didn't understand prior to going to the retreat, the support my wife was trying to offer me, because I was so caught up in just, I got to do it by myself. It just got to be me. I got to figure it out. I wasn't allowing other people to hold me up. Yeah. And the way that you all were able to hold space in the midst of it, I remember there was a point where it was addressing some real childhood trauma. And I think it was you, Francis, so lovingly, and I really appreciate you as a facilitator for this. I know you all are just like, I'm gonna let you go through your process, but you stepped in and you said, hey, would you like a hug, right now? And Francis, I needed that hug more than like I probably ever knew that I needed that hug. And I just sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, and just allowing myself to be held was a huge thing for me. And that was like, oh my God, this is what you know what I'm saying? Like, this is what it feels like to allow people to support you when you need it. And I remember that, and I carry that experience with me to say, Shavon, allow people to support you,
Yeah.
in these moments. Allow people to hold you up. You don't have to navigate this world by yourself.
Mm. I
Wow.
love that. Yeah.
Wow. And I think, what's so beautiful about the experience I was reflecting on, and like, I think a lot of people are feeling very similar just because in the last 2 years we have gotten used to isolating. We have gotten used to not being connected, gotten used to just kind of staying in and saying no to things. We're in public spaces just because it became like the norm. And we don't know until we have those moments again how badly we need each other. We really do. And as I even do more work with like the nervous system work and I study it more, we are co-creator constantly, right? We're creatures that co-create. Like this is what we're here for, to co-create each other's visions, and they become so powerful. So when we were in that room all together, even though we're on different planes, we were all co-creating a
We were.
consciousness, really
Mm-hmm.
co-creating a consciousness, right? That's why it looked different, because the beautiful thing about all of us is that we are different, but it's still like all part of one consciousness. And I think you can't really feel that viscerally until you're in those experiences. It all just sounds like you said, some hippie shit, right?
Yeah.
Some hippie shit, right? Like I'm co-creating like the
Right.
consciousness, bro. You
Like,
know? Bro, I'm just
like,
like, I'm gonna play some
yeah,
Palo Santo and see what happens here,
yeah.
bro. So, but then you're in those, and other people are like, "Are you speaking English right now?" Because I'm gonna basically make a meme out of all the things that you're saying to me. But I think that's beautiful how you describe it. Like the way you reflect it back is very important for us, just to kind of in the future to know really what stuck with people and what's really the most important. And it all comes down to the simplest things: love, connection,
Yeah.
right? Spirit.
Yeah.
Just the simplest of messages. And I think you basically answered all the questions that we were just
I
about to
know. I
ask.
mean, we
We
couldn't
were we
even
had all
ask
these
anything.
questions and you like answered all of
Oh
them,
my
but
God. Virgo.
Virgo strikes again.
yeah.
And I just want to make sure people know, like, you're going to have lots of teachers on your path,
Mm.
because I always go back to the same quote. Ram Dass says, we're just walking each other home.
Mm.
So there's always going to be somebody on your path that's going to take your hand. They may not take you all the way from point A to point C. Maybe that's not their purpose, right? But just know you'll have many teachers, and be open to the process of you unfolding, right? Because I posted something not too long ago that said, like, whatever got you here is not going to take you to the next step.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So just keep that in mind.
Dang, are you like a coach or something?
I don't know, like sometimes I like
Do you like
practice
help
on people. Like they sometimes like set up appointments and stuff.
Do you like help people on their healing journey? They're
So
Y'all
ridiculous.
are silly.
So as we wrap up, we do have one last question. Who is this retreat good for?
I would say anyone who is considering, right? If it was even a thought, then
Okay.
it's good for you, right? If it ran across your feed and you was just like, this sounds interesting, it's for you, right? I think it is for anyone who, I won't even say is seeking, because sometimes things seek us and we don't even know that we were seeking it, right? But I think if you ran across it and it piqued your interest a little bit, if you had a half of a question, I say go with it. I say flow with it and just see where the journey takes you, because maybe it's planting the seed, right? Maybe it ain't right now. Maybe it's like, I don't know. But I think that there are so many people out there who are ready to understand something different, right? And even if they don't know that they're ready, it's just like, what I've been doing ain't working. so maybe I might try, something else. So I would say it's for anyone and everyone who is open. You
Mm.
know, like I said, ask a question, book a, book the consultation session, and just don't even have it made up in your mind that you have to go, but just kind of see where it all leads you. Because for me, I was just like, I think I want to go to this. I might want to go to this, but I was just like, before I make a decision, I want to
Let
feel the
me ask
vibe.
12 questions.
Oh, that's definitely the Virgo with me. Like, wait a minute, question number one. I am a question asker, but I was really just like, I just needed to feel the vibe. I needed
Yeah.
to feel what is this? Because one thing I do trust, so definitely trust her gut, her instinct. I trust, the energy of things. And I just felt my soul just being like, girl, you better go. And I love what you said, Francis, about you're going to have many teachers, because this is 2022 that I did this experience. But I think I started this journey back in 2019, with someone else who I thought, like, right? I'm thinking like, this lady about to have a whole, healing journey for me. And I think I was only meant to interact with this one particular angel. I will always consider her an angel, literally just for that very small time. She planted a seed in me in 2019 for 2022 to happen. And I just keep telling myself, like, to stay open, to stay open, to stay open. Who knows what my journey in 2023, 2024, right, is going to be like. I just want to remain open to whatever life has for me, and I want to commit to heal, to grow, to evolve, to connect, to love. And I want to say understand, but guess what? Everything's not for my understanding. So I'm not going to say it, because I ain't going to understand everything. I do want to just be open.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it made me think of the hero's journey, right? Especially what Frances said when she's over there giving her sermon. Hero's journey is, the hero in their journey, sometimes they have helpers throughout that journey, and they're there for sometimes a really long time and sometimes a really, really short time. But each one of those was an integral piece of
Mm-hmm.
them on that journey to a higher space. And I always think of the book The Alchemist, right? And all the
Yeah.
like random shit he ran into, and like obstacles that he had, and how he started, and like literally think about it, like him in his beginning is the same thing when people react to us, like when we go on a journey. He's like, I'm gonna sell my sheep and go to the pyramids. And people are like, what? You're gonna do good luck, right? So it's
Right.
kind of like kind of like us. Well, I'm gonna go to the Dominican. I don't know these people, but I'm gonna do a lot of plant medicines. They're like, good luck. But when you're pulled to something, which is what he got the message. He was pulled, and he says, I'm going forward.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see where it takes me, And when you're called in a higher way, there's things that just kind of happen that are quite remarkable when you answer the call. Even though you're going to sometimes resist the call, you're still going to answer it, and you're still going to go, So,
Yeah. Don't ignore the nudge.
yeah.
Right.
Don't ignore the nudge. It's almost like, Oprah always says, life leads us breadcrumbs. You know what I mean? There's always breadcrumbs if you look behind.
Yeah.
So,
And I love carbs, so.
Yeah. And my week in the Dominican, it was one of the most beautiful experiences of my whole entire life. I mean, people ask me like, what did you do? And I tell people like straight up, like people ask me, what did you do for a week? One of my first answers is, I spent a week throwing up. Right? Like, I'm not gonna lie.
No, don't tell them that.
Well,
No.
because I think it's important. I spent a week getting rid of things that didn't serve me in my body. Right? And some people are just like, oh girl, I definitely ain't about to do it. Honey, if you gonna let a little vomit stop you from getting your healing, you the fool. I said I will spend 30 days straight throwing up if I knew, right? If I know that it means I get to be a better version of myself. I get to let some shit go that I have been carrying around for 38 years. I get to let it go. All I got to do throw up a little bit. I ain't gonna say all I gotta do, but you know what I'm saying? Like, if
Yeah.
it means that I need to connect with my body and honor my body in a way that I have never done, I'm willing to commit to that, right? I had to eat in a way I've never done for a week. I was in an environment in a way that I'm like, this is completely new to me. I'm doing things and, pushing my body in ways that I had never done before. But at the end of it, I literally walk around like telling, like I now walk away and I'm just like, I appreciate my body. Thank you to this body, because this body has sustained me. All these stretch marks, I so appreciate you. This little pudge, like, I love you, right? Like, just being able to love on my body in a way, because I understand my body differently. I connected with my body in such a beautiful, human way, right? Like, I think sometimes we forget, like, just connect with your body in such a human way. But I do want to, let me go ahead and tell y'all this stuff. Because baby, the sexual goddess that came after.
Stop it.
Let me tell y'all something.
Woo!
Listen, no, I'm just being like, I remember
I believe it.
feeling
Yeah.
energy
I believe it.
in places that a sister ain't never ever felt. I was like, what is this right here? And I mean, like, that meant a lot to me, because I suffer from a lot of sexual trauma. And so to get freed in that way, and to be able to take my power back in that way, y'all, it was the best decision that I could have ever made. And now I feel like I'm ready to go on a different journey, to honor my body and honor the goddess that is within, in a different way. So I'm again, that was definitely the cherry on top.
I was gonna say cherry on top.
Oh, it was. And so,
man.
it all came because I committed, right? So whatever it is people are out there, you want, you need, you feel like you need, you think you need, man, go get your healing, right? Like, that's really just for real. It's by any means necessary. Commit to going to get your healing. Because I don't think I've ever met a person that says, I really regret healing. Should
have never done that.
Right.
Silly me.
All the way to the beautiful beaches of the Dominican Republic and healed myself. Like, I've never met a person that said that. So I'm excited for you all and the work that you all are continuing to do, the lives that you all are continuing to change, and also the generational curses that you all are helping people break, that you might not even realize that you helping people break, because now we're establishing new narratives for future generations. I did a thing that now my daughter is going to remember for the rest of her life, to say, dang, my mama really took control of her, you know what I'm saying? Like, she really committed to this thing, and I know that planted a seed for her.
Yep.
And I don't know how that's going to manifest. I pray that I'm here to watch it, but I pray that God blesses me with the ability to watch the rest of these seeds, grow, and see the seeds that she planted, all from a decision, that I made.
Yeah.
The ripple is real. The ripple is powerful.
That's a note to end on too. And just like, again, I'll just reiterate, your commitment is really what all we needed. Like, that's really all anyone needs at that retreat, your commitment, and just like watching you blossom. And I hope we go to like more retreats together, even if they're not ours. Like, I'm talking like just shenanigans. You know what I'm saying?
I'm here for it. Sign me up. Y'all
Oh.
already know what type of retreat I'm trying to go
Yep.
next.
Yep.
So, like, let me know when we got that one on.
So silly.
We're gonna make a Shavon retreat.
Listen. But man, like, it was just, man, it's beautiful. Again, there aren't enough words in the human language to really be able to describe my gratitude for you all being obedient to your calling. So I thank you all for being obedient and leaning into that nudge you all felt whenever you all decided to say, I think we might could do this and create this space. I really appreciate you all for doing that and for being amazing facilitators, because it was definitely a one of a kind experience, and one that I relive in my head every single day.
Aw.
Wow. I know. I'm gonna go home. You want to go cry now?
I love y'all so much.
We love you too, Shavon. And yeah, thank you for it was an honor to serve, and just thank you for saying yes.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody who was in here just coming along for our little journeys and listening. And I understand that sometimes the English language doesn't always translate, but you get the idea, you get the vibe, and it's just beautiful here in different ways. We can keep saying the same thing over and over, but in different ways, through different vessels, through different experiences, and that lights me up. Like, just hearing the way you reflected it back was like, wow, okay, that's a book.
Yeah.
That's a book. So so thank
So
you.
if you're feeling called, definitely join the wait list. Right now we have 3 slots left, so we'd love to see you at the end of January.
Yep.
Until next time, folks, thanks for watching.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.